Hi, I'm Sean Moran with ACC GIS, and I'll be introducing the Austin Streetcar Project. In 2020, Austinites passed a $7.1 billion mass transit plan that includes 3 new light rail lines. While zipping around Austin in a streetcar may seem futuristic, streetcars were actually a major form of urban transportation before the automobile age. Between 1891 and 1940, Austin had an extensive network of streetcars that included 23 miles of track. Residents could travel from South Congress to Hyde Park or Tom Miller Dam to East Austin, all for a nickel. Check out this story by Bob Buckaloo with local TV station KView on Austin's historic streetcars.
As more people in Central Texas find other ways to get around town, we want to take a look back at how people used to move in Austin without cars. Tonight, KView's Bob Buckaloo shows us Austin's early version of public transportation.
The corner of 6th and Congress in Austin, an everyday scene, frozen in time, courtesy Google. Now here's that same view from around 100 years ago, when most Austinites got around town by streetcar. As early as the 1870s, they ran on mule power and cost a nickel to ride. Eventually, streetcars would use the electricity generated by the dam on Lake Austin. The powerhouse made the juice that ran the cars. But after the dam collapsed in the 1900 flood, it was back to mules for a while. And when electric power returned, one streetcar line ran all the way from downtown to a fashionable new neighborhood called Hyde Park. And the tracks were expanded along the Congress Avenue Bridge and onward into South Austin. Now, streetcar travel was not without its hazards. According to the Austin History Center, cars would sometimes just jump the tracks. Eventually, streetcars would lose a battle as more Austinites desired their own form of transportation, automobiles. And then came the buses. And when the last streetcar made its final run on Congress Avenue in 1940, there was a big celebration at 6th and Congress. Then the tracks were torn out. A couple of years later on Congress Avenue, no tracks at all. Much of the steel repurposed for the war effort. And historians say today you won't find any remnants of the old streetcar tracks in Austin. The end of the era of public transportation by rail. Or was it? As they say, everything old is new again. Bob Buckaloo, KView News.
And here's a map of Austin's historic streetcar system before it was dismantled. You could get within a few blocks of almost every corner of the city. Now, getting around Austin is much more difficult today than in 1900, but Austin voters recently approved Project Connect's new light rail initiative to improve mobility. This is the Project Connect website. You can find it at projectconnect.com. And if we visit the website and scroll down, we can view a video that'll introduce you to what's on tap for Austin's Project Connect.
Project Connect from Capital Metro is the comprehensive transit plan designed to connect Austin, including 3 new rail lines, north and south, east Austin, a tunnel through downtown, and a direct route to and from the airport, and all-electric buses and more routes. Learn about the plan at projectconnect.com.
And if we check out the Project Connect website, we can click on Projects. And there you can see listed first are the 3 new rails and a downtown tunnel. And if we scroll down just a bit and click on View the Map, to see the proposed transit system plan for Austin by Project Connect, including the orange, blue, and gold light rail lines. And funny enough, the proposed system plan looks very similar to the historic plan of the old Austin streetcar network. Now, you use GIS to plan your own alternative streetcar rail system. That includes a Phase 1 priority circulator streetcar route, along with a Phase 2 expanded north-south streetcar route and east-west streetcar route. You'll plan these systems using population data and publish your results in an interactive web map. Now, the scope of the project is to plan a phased streetcar rail system with priority and expanded routes and stops in ArcGIS Pro. Next, you'll analyze the connectivity and the number of residents and workers within a 5-minute walk of rail stops. Last, you'll publish your finalized map as a web app and submit the publicly accessible URL address along with your ArcGIS Pro package with finalized project, map, and geodatabase. This project includes 4 summary tasks. Summary task 1 is to create the priority route and stops. Summary task 2, create the expanded routes and stops. Summary task 3, analyze the connectivity and service area. And summary task 4, publish your interactive web map. Now, if we look at the statement of work, you can see the project team there listed with you as a GIS analyst and your instructor as a project manager. You can read the project description, and you can even see a picture of the original Austin streetcar on Congress Avenue. Now, this project is expected to take between 8 to 12 hours. The project area is the city of Austin. We've already talked about the purpose. Your audience includes city officials and the general public, and your completed project should be published as an ArcGIS Online web app with embedded web map and shared with the public. The software requirements include internet access, an ArcGIS Online organizational account, and ArcGIS Pro. And for data, all of the source data required to complete this project is accessible via ArcGIS Online. There you can see the 4 summary tasks that together define the scope for this project. We'll start with summary task 1, create priority routes and stops. We'll begin by creating and setting up the GIS project. Next, we'll create the geodatabase feature dataset and attribute domains. Then we'll create geodatabase feature classes and assign the attribute domains. Next, we'll add and symbolize map layers. We'll then add the base map layers. Now, before we start editing, we always prepare the editing environment. Then we'll create the priority routes, create the priority stops, and create the schedule standalone table and relationship class. And we'll use that relationship class to relate our priority stops points feature class with our schedule standalone table. We'll begin in Windows Desktop, where we'll open up File Explorer. And in Windows File Explorer, I'm going to browse to my course project folder, which for me is under C drive, ACC, GISC 1479. And there's my projects folder. And this is where I store all of my projects. And I can create my project folder structure using Windows File Explorer or ArcGIS Pro. In this case, I'm going to use ArcGIS Pro to do that. So I'm going to go to the Start button in Microsoft Windows and open up ArcGIS Pro. And in the ArcGIS Pro splash screen under New Project, I'm going to click on New Map. And that opens up the new project window. I'm going to start from the bottom to the top. So I do want to create a folder for this project, so I'm going to leave that checked. Under Location, I'm going to click on the Browse window. And in the New Project Location window, I'm going to browse to my course folder, to my projects folder. And then when that's highlighted under Name, I'm going to click OK. And then now I'm going to name my new project, and I'm going to call it Austin_streetcar. All right, now that I have all my settings correct, when I click OK, watch what happens in Windows File Explorer in the lower right corner. It creates the Austin Streetcar folder and also the project folder structure for an ArcGIS Pro project, including the Austin Streetcar.gdb, which is the file geodatabase, the Austin Streetcar ATBX, which is the toolbox, and of course the Austin Streetcar.aprx, which is the ArcGIS Pro project document, which you see right there. I'm going to go ahead and minimize Windows File Explorer and maximize ArcGIS Pro. Now we're ready to set up the GIS project. And we'll begin in the Contents pane by updating the map view properties. So I'm going to right click on the map view in the Contents pane and select Properties. In the Map Properties window under General, I'm going to go ahead and update the name. and we're going to name it as Austin underscore streetcar underscore map. And then I want to go ahead and append my first name and last name using underscores to that name. So it's a unique name when I publish it in ArcGIS Online near the end of this project. And then at the bottom, I want to make sure I check allow assignment of unique IDs. Again, this will facilitate the process when we publish our web map in ArcGIS Online. I'm going to click on the metadata group, where I'm going to update the information about this project, including the title. And we'll start with a simple title, Austin space streetcar space map. We'll also update our keywords or tags. How about streetcar, comma, space ACC, comma, space GIS. You update the summary. Proposed Austin streetcar rail lines and the description. Plan a new streetcar rail system for Austin using population data and publish your results in an interactive web map. I'm going to enter my credits, which are of course my first name and my last name, and any use limitations. I don't have any, so I'm going to skip that part. Now I want to click on the coordinate systems group and confirm that the coordinate system is WGS 1984 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere, which is the Google or web mapping coordinate system. And if I click on details, you can see the unique ID is 3857 for this coordinate system. And so if I don't have Web Mercator selected, I can, in the search, type in 3857, and it will drill down to my preferred coordinate system. In this case, under projected coordinate system world, you can see there's my WGS 1984 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere coordinate system. I'll go ahead and select it and click OK. Now I want to save my changes to my ArcGIS Pro project, and I can do that from the quick access toolbar in the upper left corner. I'm going to click on Save Project. Now we're ready to create our geodatabase feature dataset in attribute domain, and we'll start over in the catalog pane if it's not open. You can see it over in the right side of my screen there. It has the catalog pane, and if it's not open, you'll find it by clicking on the View ribbon, and then in the Windows group, click on Catalog pane. Now with your catalog pane open, you can see I've got my Maps section with my Austin streetcar map, which is the same as my tab up there. I've got my toolboxes, databases, styles, folders, and even my address locators. Now we're going to start in the database section, where I've got a empty project file geodatabase called Austin underscore streetcar. And I'm going to create a feature data set by right-clicking on the Austin streetcar file geodatabase, going to New and Feature Data Set. In the Geoprocessing Create Feature Dataset pane, my output geodatabase is already set because I initiated it by right-clicking the Austin streetcar geodatabase. I'm going to enter in my feature dataset name as system, and then confirm that my coordinate system is set to my preferred coordinate system, which is the same as the current map, WGS 1984 Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere. Once I have my settings correct, I'm going to click Run, and that's going to create my feature data set in my geodatabase. I'm going to close the geoprocessing pane, and there in the catalog pane, you can see my system feature data set. Now I want to create an attribute domain that I'm going to be using throughout my project. So those are created at the geodatabase level and then applied at the field level of a feature class or table. So I'm going to start by right-clicking again my Austin streetcar geodatabase and go to Domains. And in my Domains window, and I'm going to dock it down here so we can see a little more closely. The domain name, I'm going to click in there. I'm going to call it all uppercase line. I'm going to give it a description. Street, car, line, color. The field type, I'm going to go ahead and leave as text. The domain type, I'm going to leave set to coded value domain. I'm going to leave my split and merge policy set to default. And then now I'm going to enter in my codes and descriptions for my streetcar lines, which include a one-letter code for each line, which is code R, and the description is red. Code G, and the description is green. And code B, and the description is blue. And you can see I've changed my schema because I got those little green squares there highlighted. And so I need to save changes to my schema on the domains ribbon. Under the manage edits, there's the save button right there. I need to click the save button to save changes to my schema. All right, so there I've created my attribute domain. Now I'm ready to create my geodatabase feature classes and assign those domains. I'm going to save my project before I continue.